holds the British crown? Who keeps the metric system down? We do.
When two very different elements collide, two things could happen. It could create the most fantastical reaction that could benefit mankind, or could react in a way so negative, chaos would ensue, that could hold no bounds. But there is another thing that could happen, one that no one could ever prepare for, and that is diarrhea. So let's take one of those things that I love, pro wrestling, and mix it with another thing that I love, The Simpsons, seasons 1 to 10. Let's not get it f***ing twisted, yeah? And what do you get? The Simpsons Wrestling on PS1. Now, it's been a good couple of decades since I last played this game, and in that time it's been labelled one of the worst wrestling games. But is it really? Let's chat about it. So grab yourself a cold duff. It's game time. The Simpsons Wrestling is a wrestling game featuring some of the residents of Springfield stepping into the ring to do battle with one another. Why is this happening? No idea. Not that every game needs a reason to take this direction, but this is The Simpsons, a show that's filled with characters that are crazy enough to start something like this. Like Mr. Burns creating a wrestling league with a huge prize at the end of it, or Moe starting an underground fight ring and just blows up into a phenomenon. And it doesn't have to be anything more than that. I just think it shouldn't just have to be, oh, this is happening, and that's it. Even The Simpsons Road Rage that came out the same year as this had a simple backstory explained in one cutscene. Then after that, lets you loose into the game. Actually, in retrospect, after playing this game, I can see which game had more effort put into it. Okay, let's get into the game. So we have a selection of 8 characters to choose from to start out with. Of course, the entire Simpsons family is here, including Marge, who looks like she's about to have a mental breakdown. I'll throw this f***ing baby at you and stick my heel up your arse, you c-. You also have Barney, Apu, Krusty, and Groundskeeper Willie, with 4 more characters to unlock, including Moe, Bumblebee Man, Professor Frink, and one more I'll talk about later. But first, let's get a match going. I'll select Bart and see how it goes. And my first match is against Barney, and we get promos from each of the competitors.
I don't know whether to pity you or pound you. Hey, I'll do both.
Hey, Bart, Uncle Barney's gonna bounce your head off the mat a few times. It'll be fun.
Okay, that right there, that was messed up.
The bell rings, and the first thing I notice is that the basic movements are very floaty. Light on your heels like you're wearing rollerblades, but the turning is quite stiff, going wide almost every single time and hitting the ropes, which acts like actual ropes, which also doesn't help if you're going for the power-ups. And attacking is odd too. You have a basic attack, which I think is a combo that ends with a move that floors your opponent. I say I think because it looks like an inconsistent moveset filled with random strikes, which can be interrupted by the opponent's attacks, and vice versa. You have a ranged attack, which in this case is Bart's slingshot, and a special move, riding on your skateboard for a few seconds, and bash Barney, if you can, because the turning is so heavy and you end up going even wider. This is not looking good. What you have to do is run down your opponent's health, knock them to the canvas, and hope they stay down for the 3 count, like they do in pro wrestling. Quite straightforward, but when it comes to the actual wrestling, there are some issues. Actually, there are a few issues. There are a lot of issues. Okay, let's break this down a bit. So like I said before, you need to finish your basic combo to knock down your opponent, but a combo can be interrupted by the other guy's attack. And what ends up happening is you two bashing one another and chipping at the health bar, looking like a cartoon slap fight, which ends up going nowhere. So you have to try other things, like jump attacks, which you could spam over and over, which can be funny, or do a splash with the circle button, or in Lisa's case, a diving headbutt. Yay, CTE! Or a clothesline type move by running into the ropes and hitting an attack button, which is flimsy, either because the timing is off and doesn't work, or it somehow works and you end up hitting nothing. Even worse when you use your strong attack with the circle button and you end up face planting, leaving you open for attack. You can grab the other guy, but you can either throw them or do an attack so you might as well be trying to breastfeed them.
What did he say?
You also have range and special attacks too, with every character having one of their own, which is kinda cool. Like Homer with his bowling ball and eating donuts to grow big and makes his attack stronger, or Willie with his long range high kick and can lay down traps. And Marge can swing her hair and use Maggie to slow them down. Great ring psychology, Marge. By putting your baby at risk, you're definitely insane. I'll shank you, Bellend! But there is a massive problem. Depending on the character you pick, these attacks can range from overpowered to f***ing useless. Most characters have projectiles that, unless you are really close up to them, you'll miss almost every time. A lot of these special attacks are awful, Barney has a burp cloud that causes damage to anyone standing in it, but no one really does because the ring is so massive it's easily avoidable. Willie's traps don't do anything unless someone walks across it, and they don't cause much damage. And Maggie is a minor inconvenience at best, but then you got Mo swinging his nail board, Krusty's mallet, and Bumblebee Man's dog that can bite you over a course of 15 seconds are really effective in taking chunks out of you. So if you picked one of the other characters to go up against these guys, you're going to struggle. This makes everything uneven, and you won't know until you start playing, because there are no character details in the character select menu. But when you have characters with unique and diverse abilities, I'd like to have some idea how they work. And another thing that really pisses me off. Above your health bar is your energy bar, and you need to fill it up to a certain point to be able to use your abilities. But not just that, almost everything you do drains your energy, including basic attacks and jumping. So if you're trying to knock down someone, you won't be able to until your character recharges energy, which is so restrictive and slows the pace down, and the pace is slow enough as it is. And it depends on the two guys in the ring, but it can be a slog most of the time. You can change the round numbers in Exhibition, but I kept it at 3 rounds for the sake of footage capture, and most matches ended up being around 4 to 5 minutes, which is filled with zooming around the ring and tapping each other until someone gets knocked over. If you're looking for some fast-paced action, in my opinion, you won't get it here. There are power-ups for health and energy, along with a speed boost that makes your character even more uncontrollable, zooming past your opponent and bouncing off the ropes unintentionally, ending up in a Hogan vs Warrior at Halloween Havoc 98 situation. And you can pick up taunt letters. You collect 5 of them, and you become invincible for 20 seconds, which can turn the tide in a fight, but only if you can find them, because the camera is absolute shit. It will zoom in on how near or far the characters are to each other, and not in a good way. It will swing constantly in and out like it's being controlled by Mr. Bean, and if the power-ups don't spawn near your area, you'd have no clue where it is until you walk around like a dickhead to find it. That's if the other guy doesn't find it first. So f***ing annoying. A Simpsons fighting game sounds good on paper, and it should be good in practice too, but The Simpsons Wrestling feels like it's sabotaging itself, and ends up restricting itself, making everything no fun. But could it salvage something out of its presentation? Well, yes and no. I like that they brought back the original voice cast, and it's genuinely good, and the characters do respond by each other's names.
I intend to show that superior intellect and education wins out over mischievosity and cunning shenanigans.
If you're so smart, why are you here? Everyone knows wrestling's only for stupid people.
But, as a wrestling fan, this one is for you.
Go fuck yourself!
You also get to fight in well-known areas of Springfield, like outside the Simpsons residence, the Quickie Mart, Moe's Tavern, among other places. And it's very cool to see other characters spectating, even if they look a bit flat and a bit crumpled. Sideshow, Mel, what happened to your arm? Is that what eating cheese does to you? Season 5, episode 12, Bart gets famous. You'll get it. The character designs are fine for the most part, except for when they're posing, like Apu. I don't know whether he's celebrating or suffering from vertigo. But on the whole, this game hasn't aged well. It's got that fuzzy videotape look that makes everything pixely and grainy. This game was released in 2001, and it looks older than that in my opinion. And the sound design is not nice either. Like the graphics, the music is dated and very generic as they come, but mix that with the sound effects and voice lines during the fight, and it will drive you up the wall. It's the same hit sounds, screams of pain, and audience reactions going off all at once. And all I want to do is turn everything down to 0, but you might drive yourself mad doing that too. This is the most fun I've ever had. But it's not all bad, I guess. Professor Frink's attack from the ropes is hilarious. Okay, so the game has tournaments to complete, and as I'm a glutton for punishment, I decided to play through them. But if you've been enjoying my suffering so far, maybe consider subscribing. I'm almost at 300, and any help to reach that would be greatly appreciated. Okay, let's start with the new Contenders Tournament. I pick Apu because he's a great character and I don't care what anyone says. So the other problem with this game is its AI, and it shows in the tournament modes. The first 5 fights are a breeze to get through, but then it gets to Bumblebee Man, and there's definitely a spike here. Controlling these characters is very janky, but that doesn't come through for the AI, because it pulls off everything without a hitch. running attacks, jumping attacks, you name it. It does it all flawlessly. And it's even going for the power-ups. You know, the ones I can't get because the cameraman has carpal tunnel. Believe me, none of my other opponents did any of this. And I just kept getting the kicked out of me, which left me with no other option to run around the ring to get any power-ups and taunt letters I can get my hands on, getting a cheap shot in when I can. And it ends up looking like the Benny Hill show. So eventually I did beat him and went on to Lisa. And this is a weird one too. She has a saxophone attack which never worked for me whenever I used her. Believe me, I tried everything, pressing the button multiple times, holding down the button, and it doesn't work. All it does is make the dog itself. But when the computer does it, oh, no f***ing problem.
Out! 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 Out!
Something is definitely broken here. I did beat her, then went on to Mr. Burns and Smithers, and this one was also very annoying, because he had the three-eyed fish that could knock you on your ass if you touched it, and Mr. Burns could throw explosive vials at you, causing heavy damage. And it doesn't have to be a direct hit. And again, the computer is 100% on point. And I lost over and over again, so I had to cheese it again, by collecting items and trying to avoid being hit, and using the big splash to knock them down. It was tedious, annoying, but after many attempts, I managed to beat him. But after this, the rest of the tournament was a cakewalk. Even the final boss, Kang and Kodos, were no threat. It was quite straightforward, and that's weird. See what I mean about the computer? I don't want you to think I was complaining that it was too hard. I'm trying to say that the difficulty is inconsistent, and some things are just broken for the players. Anywho, I've unlocked the Defenders tournament. This time I play as Bumblebee Man, and apart from the unlockable characters, this feels exactly the same way. In fact, Smithers went down way easier this time, using the same strategy and using his dog to deal damage, as I do the runaround. But in between Smithers and Kang, there is that unlockable character I mentioned, and this one is the most overpowered character in fighting game history, and his name is Ned Flanders.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yes, Flanders is a powerhouse in this game. His special attack, if given a chance to use it, is God sending down bolts of lightning that could cause heavy damage if hit bang on, and could take half your health in seconds. And not only that, if he gets pinned for the free count, he'll immediately resurrect, full health and all, meaning you have to beat him twice on top of the rounds you go into that fight with. So I beat Defenders, and now on to the Champions tournament. But am I ready for this? Is this going to put my abilities to the ultimate test? Will this be the greatest challenge over the... No, it's more of the same thing.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Fight a bunch of guys, beat Smithers, beat Kang, and that's it. I picked Flanders because I wanted to get it over with. But I did get something for it. A bonus fight in the options menu. And that is Itchy versus Scratchy, or Scratchy versus Itchy.
Done.
And it's absolute bollocks. So after one of the shittiest fighting game experiences ever, I get rewarded with more shitty fighting. Only this time, you have an anvil drop on their head instead of a taunt, which makes things even worse in fact. And on that note, I'm done with The Simpsons Wrestling. This is definitely up there with the worst wrestling games of all time. Everything from how the game plays, how it sounds, how it looks, how it's structured is so rough and uneven, and can go from too hard to too easy, and some characters are better to play than others. Fighting games should not be full of inconsistencies, and I personally can't see people playing this with their mates without a fight breaking out over Ned Flanders. So no, I can't recommend this game to anyone at any price, even for the novelty of it. It deserves to be pile-drived into the mat and never spoken about again. Ay caramba.
Guy!
And those are my thoughts on The Simpsons Wrestling. But what do you guys think? Did you play this game back in the day? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Comment down below and let me know, because I'd really love to know. And that's about everything for today, my friends, and thank you so much for tuning in, and I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like what you saw, make sure you like, share and subscribe. Hit that bell for notifications. Hit that hype button. I don't know what it does, but hopefully it does something. And follow me on Facebook, X and Instagram. I've been Titch. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.